Ta-da! And welcome to Josef's Model Railway and Toy Room. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me. Just a little bit of housekeeping. You don't need to like, follow, or subscribe to any of the videos I put out there. I just put them out there where I can. Have a holly jolly great time doing so. Now, I've just thought of something. I'll be right back. Howdy doody. Now, for the past 3 years or whatever we've been doing this, I purchased this bottle of Knock static grass glue for $44.35. And it's done everything. Faulty towers here, there, the mountain, the countryside, around the cricket club, everything we've used it for. It's been wonderful. And there's still enough left to carry on with today. But it's getting a bit sad, and we've still got a few other little projects, so we may as well just get some more. Unfortunately, there was only a big one left in stock, but it was $39, so we're saving money. So we've got this. You need to get excited, because we're back to our module today about building a model railway, a train set, or a model railroad, whatever you want to call it. We're creating a miniature one for the model railway, which we're doing just below the camera where you are at the moment. And we're finally up to getting around to doing static grass and some other bits and pieces. So in the previous video, you joined me. We'd got the wiring in. We've worked out some trees we're going to need to put in and things like that. Now we're going to start getting into some of the more scenic or interesting parts for other people that like that part of the layout build. I really like the wiring and the technical side of it, and I like the earthwork side of it. But of course, we're going to get some static grass down in this one, and I think that whole thing will completely transform the look of what we're doing. Well, let's not waste any more time. We like to try and keep these at least 20 minutes or thereabouts. I don't want to bore you too much. So let's get straight into it today and see where we are.
A recap on the previous video. We went through getting some key trees sorted out, as we always do, getting some bark on them and making sure they're posed and ready to go. And of course, we took our time making sure that the wiring had been laid in, soldered up, and ready to go for a bit of a plug and play connection, or so I hope. Let's get back now to where we are. Fan only mode, but this should certainly promote some great drying times. Let's see what happens. I won't leave it on time lapse. So as we suck it all up, we're just coming back again, a little bit of the wet water, and brush on a bit of the diluted PVA, and now it's just the dirt. So now we use the talus and stone just to sort of build up the height and the shape. Now we're just going to put a bit of the dirt back on top. And finally, it comes time to lay down the track. I left the track as it was. I was going to paint it, two-tone it, all the rest. I think being that it's so small and what it is, we'll do it. Now, I can't say this enough. You want a level surface. Mine wasn't perfectly level, and yes, that's a gnarly turn up there to the right, but you'll see it works.
Umming and ahhing about this, but I am taking a little bit of burnt umber, just done a little bit of a brush here, and just right next to where our sleepers are. It's just gonna, and in the middle of the track too.
And of course, this is why I didn't paint the track. I thought I could probably get away with this. So I then take the slightly softer brush and then really just gently brush it in, so to speak, soften it out. I think it's okay.
Suck up that dirt from yesterday we just laid down.
And now we come back with, from what I believe was the 6mm drill bit. We want to, we're just going to use our hand. It's not a difficult thing, but just twist it in to get some holes in for where the trees are. I want to make sure we've got them where we need. And we also want to make sure the trees sort of semi-touch toward the bottom. I want to sort of create a bit of a framework to it. Also, the locomotive does, or the main line, those coaches would bump the tree slightly. We'll prune that when it's finally into place, but it's not bad. It's only going to be we probably don't even have to prune it. We just have to bend the branches a little bit. Now we're going to take, and I do correct myself, I was talking about my scenic cement, I use Mod Podge, but this is definitely a diluted PVA water dishwashing liquid. And we just come down and we're just putting those crushed leaves up around the base of where those big trees will actually be.
Okay, now we need to start getting some static grass down. And I'm talking about pretty much the edges here and building up in between the trees here. So not the main bit, but we need to sort of create that base layer of where it's not really being that well kept. So what we're actually going to do, and I'm going to do this all in the same hit, and I'll get a lot of criticism for it, that's fine. We're going to use some 4mm dead grass. We're going to be using, I'm very fond of this one. This is the dry farmland 5mm. And we're also, this is a new one. I haven't tried this one before, but a bit of rich undergrowth, which is pretty much exactly what I get when I use my woodland scenics. I use the light, the medium, and the dark green, which is pretty much what this is. But we want these sort of 5mm strands, and it's going to be a little bit sparse and just sort of in between where each of the trees would be. I'll put the module back in as we do it, but you'll get a feeling for what we're going to do. So we're going to load up the hopper. As mentioned, I still haven't done a video on doing static grass. I realize we seem to have it everywhere, and I still haven't really explained it in great depth its own video, which I will. But the Flocket static grass applicator, which it's got a very big opening, and I think there are some better products out there for the money, but I'm really happy with it. I have the Peco one, but this one really has that static charge that throws it nicely, and I do always recommend using a static grass glue as opposed to a PVA. There is a difference. I've been using this knock one for a while. It's upside down because we're going to bleed the last bit out, but definitely make sure you're using a static grass type of glue, because it might not seem like a big deal, but it does matter. We obviously had a bit of that burnt in there. That can stay. We're not going to be recycling any of this. We're going to, even though we're not going to need much, we've got to do a few passes with it. There's going to, if you don't like wasting money, please turn your eyes away now, because this is not going to go well, but that's how it's going to go.
Now we've got that hopper filled up. Let's just get that module into place ready for this moment. Now, you can see that as we scrape the last of the glue out, it's not looking good. I just use a brush, and you can see how I'm sort of just randomly, the first lot I sort of put on, but as we've got it down, you'll see me just as I slow it down here, I come back and I blot down on the hard bits to sort of spread it out. It really does make a great difference as we go on here. So let's grab the hopper now, turn it on. We take the little grounding bit and start to sprinkle.
It doesn't matter that it's not all going in and on. I don't want it to be dense. I don't mind it actually around the track work to be a bit dense, but we can fill that in a bit later. See if I can get you in for a close shot.
So the process is pretty much sprinkle it on, suck it up with a vacuum cleaner, or turn the module upside down if you can, and then suck up all that loose stuff. It also helps get it standing up, and then sprinkle it on again, and then simply upside down or suck it off with a vacuum cleaner again, and repeat, repeat, repeat. Usually 3 or 4 passes will probably get what you need. Depends what you need. Sometimes you only need a couple because you need it to look a little bit sparse and barren, but 3 or 4 is generally what I would recommend, and the vacuum cleaner is a good way to go.
Strange one we're doing actually. So even though we've got it and we need to still suck it up, the module will come out on this one, so we're going to go straight upside down over the bin, or recycle it if needed, which is exactly, as you can see, what we want. This will dry out nicely. It's not too over the top, but some nice vegetation there. This other bit will quickly suck out and clean. Now at the moment, things look bad. I'm not going to lie to you, but what I want to assure you is they're actually looking fantastic. You just need to let this dry. Like I said, it takes time because we're layering and layering and layering this bit for bit, but the results will be fantastic when we are done. Now you can see I still need to clean a lot more with the vacuum cleaner. Don't overthink that at the moment. We've still got more mess to come.
This is the Whyalla dark earth textured type of material you can get if you don't want to mix up your own dirt and that. You'll recall I used this at the Noodle Knocker Junction Radio Control Club build that I did there. If you haven't seen that video, please do go back and check it out. It's a wonderful thing, although I lost some footage. It comes out a bit like a sort of a grainy toothpaste or something. You lay it down. Now, I haven't used mine in a bit. There's still quite a bit left, but a drop of water will certainly get things moving again. And I think it's really, really good. I don't want to waste it, so we'll create some sort of flower beds. And taking inspiration actually from pure 80s in Adelaide, South Australia, North Adelaide to be specific, where they made this beautiful flower arrangement with a clock in the middle. I believe it's still there today. The flowers are always wonderful. I thought I'm not putting a clock in, I don't think, but I wanted to try and create something there, so a couple of flower beds.
All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. Now getting the feature static grass. There you can see that mud has dried. Doesn't look too bad. We'll get some flowers in. And now we're going to get some of this grass in the feature section, which should really bring it out. Well, so I hope. So what we'll do, since we don't need it on this bit, we'll take it down and put it back on the board again to work with so we can turn it upside down. We're going to go back to the Woodland Scenics grass on this one. And while the other grass you saw in the background here is basically 4 and 5 type of mill, we're going to use something that looks like it's been, cut with the mower and maintained. So we're going to use a 2 millimeter grass on this one. And I think what we're going to do in this situation, we're probably going to go for probably more of the mid with a little bit of the darker green in. We're going to skip those lighter ones for the minute, which we have used in other areas, because this obviously they're using watering and it's getting well looked after here. So we definitely want to add a little splash of color down into here. And I've purchased another bit of glue. I realize that we're probably 90% or more through with landscaping. It's been the best part of 3 years to get me through with the other one. How about that? Looks like we've even had a price reduction. You don't see that much, but it is time for a new one, and this is all they had in stock. And I didn't want to wait any longer, so let's get to it. Okay, let's get to it. First things first, let's get that hopper ready to go. Okay, got a vacuum cleaner. Nice. We're going upside down with this one anyway, so we can tip the board upside down. The vacuum cleaner is usually for others, but I still use it anyway because it does help getting them standing up just right.
And here's me trying to be a little bit of an Edmund Clever Clogs, thinking that I don't want to contaminate my glue, so I'll decant it out. It's quite full, but there's enough dripping off the inner lid of that. I could just bleed that down onto my baking paper, parchment paper, whatever you want to call it, and then I could just decant straight off of that. Sounds like a marvellous idea. Now I just grab a brush, any brush will do. I've actually got a little fine one for some little fine spots I want to make sure I'm going to make sure the grass does make contact with. I'm working on something else. But otherwise, just get a brush and brush it on. The biggest tip they'll always say is to never work on too much at once. Remember, I'm not working on a large area, and that's top advice. You certainly wouldn't want to be trying to cover more than 20, 30 square centimeters, every section. Maybe half a meter if you're brave and going quick and you can put a big brush down. But the module is probably stretching it a little bit. Don't go much bigger than this. Oh, looks like that great idea of mine didn't work out quite so well. That's okay. Let's first pass I do, you'll actually see the grounding wire is actually attached to the baking tray. Again, this is why I haven't done a video. I'm still experimenting with things and I haven't got the perfect formula. Some say you'll want it stabbed into the actual glue. The best results I've ever had to attach a little piece of metal to the clip and literally hover it somewhere just near where the opening is, and it's what gives me the best results, and that's pretty much what you're going to see I think on the second pass. But the 2mm is pretty forgiving. That's why they'll always recommend when you do static grass, start with the smallest, a 2 mil, and then work your way up to your 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 mil, whatever you need to do. I just found, particularly when we were doing that GSM telecommunications mast over near the coastal area, I got better results just going in one pass, putting the big stuff in from the get-go. But I guess it depends on the scene you're doing, and being that we want to create a bit of a well-maintained lawn, I don't think this is a bad way to go. So let us just now grab our vacuum cleaner as always. It's doing a couple of things. It's grabbing all the loose strands that could be in the way. It's also assisting in getting the rest of the grass to stand up in a good way. That's why we'll do a video and I'll get some really, really close stuff to show you that in action. But I think you get the idea. It's also to clean it up so that as we come with the next pass, we're not interfering or something's not sticking where we don't want it to stick. Okay, so now what you'll see me do is just unclip the ground wire there that we used for the static applicator, take it off of that, and I attach it just to a small steel or metal ruler or anything. Sometimes I just use a scrap piece of track, works just as well. And we'll switch it back on again. I usually hold it on a bit of an angle so it doesn't all sort of just dump out in one hit. You can sort of sprinkling it along, and you can probably see that static charge, the way it sort of just comes out, and sort of once it comes out with that charge, it sort of just makes contact with the glue standing up. And the trick is to try and keep it standing up there where you can. That's why when it's a module, you can quickly turn upside down. It works in your favor to shake it off if you don't have a vacuum cleaner. But the vacuum cleaner really, in that 10-20 seconds that I'm doing this and then running back to the vacuum cleaner, it's just enough that it sort of sat a little bit and the vacuum cleaner can hold it and bring it back up to shape. But of course I'm tapping it off because there's a bin right beside me, and then we'll reach for our vacuum cleaner. So as we suck away, I accidentally get the vacuum cleaner a little bit too close there in a corner and bump the section. And you don't get that on all the other channels you tune into. That's why you come back and visit me, isn't it? So I managed to recycle a little bit of the grass that was there and just relayed it. And I think we're okay now. Well, like any good project, we need to get it cleaned up now. Now, if you notice that red brush that I've been using, that's been with me since the very start. And it's had to go through everything. Paints, glues, everything. But as long as you give everything a good clean, I always give it a quick clean under hot soapy water. And then at the end of it, a quick dry off on the arm. And then I brush it through my hair to get the oils off my hair so it's ready to go next time. And they will keep serving you well. Well, here's the module upside down. We'll leave it to dry for a couple of days. Wish you could see the other side. Here's another snazzy picture, but of course it's upside down. But I think as you can see, this is going to be very interesting. And for those of you that like to save money, please turn your heads away now. This is just pure static grass, nothing wrong with it, but we're going to suck it up and just make it disappear. So grab your Bissell or your Hoover or whatever type of vacuum cleaner you prefer and just give it a quick clean up there as we carry on. Okay. Let's jump into the next. Oh, hang on, it's nearly 20 minutes. We better start wrapping this one up, shall we? Joseph, you've finally got started with working on a backdrop for the model railway in the back scene. No, that's just that module drying. Upside down.
Oh, Joseph, you stinker. You're going to cut it there? I'm sorry, girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to do it for this video. They're all going to get a bit too long. So we're just going to cut it there. And I think we've got some exciting things to be seeing in that next video for those of you that are going to come along for the journey and join us for that one. Until then, though, please do stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Toodles!